Well, it's 2024, and I hope everybody had a great New Year's. So I figured I'd do another drum picking video, as I came across some really cool stuff yesterday. So I've had some people ask me about restoration videos, and don't worry, there's definitely more of those in the works. I've actually been working on one for several months, just as time allows. Those videos are a lot tougher to produce. They take a lot longer. So these videos just kind of fill in the gaps in between the restoration videos I'm working on. And I figured I'd like to share some of the cool stuff I come across. Plus it gives people a little insight to how I acquire these drums. So in my last video, I bought a bunch of drums out of a storage area. I've sold a lot of beginner kits and intermediate kits over the years, but as my collecting and my love for vintage drums have kind of taken over, I've steered away from that. So dealing with stuff like that takes me away from what I really want to do, which is dealing with vintage drums and the restoration work. But that's how I've acquired a lot of these drums, is buying beginner intermediate sets and using that to fund buying stuff like this. But again, I've kind of gotten away from that over the last few years and just really try to stick with the vintage stuff. That's my passion, that's my love. That's what I love to work on. That's what I love to deal in. So before we get into what I just got, I just want to take a second and thank all my subscribers, everybody that watches my videos, everybody that comments. You guys have really come through. You've helped me figure out a few things that I just didn't know what they were. It's impossible to be an expert in everything. Also, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe and drop me a comment. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel. So as you can see, compared to my last video, the garage is pretty empty. So I spent a little time the other day, cleaned up, sorted, and organized those kits, posted them, and they all sold right away the first night in the cases that I got. So as you can see, the pile of what I got left is pretty small. I still have the red Club Date bass drum, the Super, and the gold Sparkle Slingerland. But what I did was I took the money I made off of those sets, and I went up to see a friend of mine up in New Hampshire who's a drummer, really good guy, and he's also a flipper. Now, I agreed to buy this drum last week. I was just waiting for a chance to get up there. This is a 30s, 40s Leedy Reliance, white enamel over brass, 8 lug, 6.5 by 14. It's just a beautiful drum. Somebody put these chrome strips on there, and I did a little test spot yesterday, and it looks like they're going to come off pretty easy. So this will be an upcoming restoration video. I'll polish the shell, polish all the nickel, get it looking really nice. So when I went into his drum room, I noticed these right away. I didn't even know they existed. He didn't tell me about them. He had just gotten a real lot of stuff, and he was still going through everything, organizing it himself. But once I was there and I saw them, this is where all my focus was, on these two drums. They're both nickel over brass. I thought this was a Ludwig Universal at first, but I can't find any markings on it. It's a 6 lug. It's got the Universal style throw off. It's a 4-inch deep shell. So this is pretty much how they were set up on his pool table. Just a couple shells, the hoops, and a box of parts. So not being able to find any markings on this shell and just all the parts in a box, I made an appropriate offer on these, thinking that there may be something missing. And parts for old drums can be nearly impossible to find. Never mind this one. This is a late 20s, 30s Super Ludwig. So it's got the Ludwig engraved on the front, heavy brass shell. So I really lucked out here. All the parts are here, except for the rod that connects the two strainers. All the lugs are there, all the screws are there. Some reproduction clips, but no biggie. I have some nickel clips down in the basement. The strainers, And he even had the original wires. So this one over here is missing some tension rods, but all the lugs are there, all the screws are there, the clips are there, the strain is there. It's also missing the butt plate. So I'm really happy. A trip to go up and grab one snare drum turned into getting 3 beautiful drums. This one's not super valuable no matter what, even if it was complete. This one has some good value to it. This one does as well. It's just an awesome drum. It's similar to my Ludwig Silver Anniversary that I have downstairs that I did a video on previously. So while I was there, I started digging through some tubs of stuff he had, and I managed to find some little stuff too. Some Ludwig 5/16 spurs, a new tube for one of my Ludwig stands that the tube's all dented up on. This one's a lot better. A WFL P83 with the butt plate, and a couple Ludwig cymbal mount L-arms. And what's funny is, and I noticed this when I grabbed it, that the topper is broken. That should be much longer. So from my last video, I showed this stand in the pile of stands that actually had the wrong topper on it. So that there is the piece I need for that L-arm cymbal mount. It's just kind of funny how that worked out. I needed this, and this is the exact piece that goes to that. So all I got to do is swap that out, and I've got a good usable arm. Then, back to the pool table, I noticed he had this pile of wires. So I grabbed them too. Pure Sound extended wires. These are really hard to find. Couple sets of new old stock duplex snappy wires, and these are really cool. New old stock Ludwig gut wires. Almost impossible to find. So I got some really good stuff. In my last video, I said I really didn't value hardware. That's when I'm buying a huge lot of stuff. But there is some value to some hardware. It all depends on the circumstances. If somebody has all brand new DW hardware, I know how to price that. If it's a big pile of just random stuff, it's got no value to me. These stands had a little bit of value. 2 nice Ludwig concert tom stands, and a nice Yamaha double tom stand. Now, I really didn't need the whole stand. I really just need that double tom holder for my recording customs, but it just made sense to buy the whole stand. So in the same lines as me finding this little piece last week that I need for this cymbal arm, the random stuff you get, a viewer, a subscriber, John, saw that I got this half a DW pedal and reached out to me and said, oh, too bad that wasn't the newer version. I have the slave side to it. And I said, well, you may be in luck because I have a newer double pedal that's missing the slave side. So what a coincidence. So now he's going to have a full pedal, and he also bought a little cymbal while he was at it. Thanks, John. You're a good guy. And another viewer reached out to me about the Dixies, and he said he had a gold sparkle Slingerland project. So you can see I only got 2 of the MIJs left, and I only got the Rocker 18-inch floor tom. The Tama 8-inch tom went. Everything else went. Tom reached out to me and said he had this project. So we did a swap for the Dixie for this project set. Now I got that gold sparkle in the load last week. These ones need a real polish. I guess they were covered in paint, and he did the hard work and got the paint off for me. These are also stage bands, so they have the center lug. But this way I'll be able to put a little player's kit together. So it'll be 12, 16, 20. It just worked out perfect. And he gave me the box of parts that goes with it. So again, thanks, Tom. I actually met him in person. Really good guy. I really appreciate it. And this YouTube thing's been pretty awesome. I've actually met a few viewers in person. And you know who you are. And they've all been great guys. The drumming community is pretty awesome as a whole. Yeah, online, you'll have some jerks, but everybody I've ever met in person has been a stand-up guy. It's going to be a minute before I get all the parts to complete these two drums, especially that rod that connects the two strainers. He's looking for it. Hopefully he finds it. If not, I may have to make one, or maybe one off of newer Super Sensitive will fit. I'm going to have to deal with that later, but so I don't lose any of the parts, I'm going to quickly assemble these drums. And then when I get all the parts, I'll take them back apart and do a real restoration. This one's pretty clean as it is. This one, again, I couldn't find any markings on it. There's no Ludwig on the hoop. There's no markings on the shell. I may just hot rod this. For what it'll cost me to find the original parts, and these don't have a lot of value to begin with, I might just make it a really nice player's drum with a newer like vintage style strainer on it. Not quite sure yet, but I'm going to get to assembling these. So here they are, back together for now. That Super Ludwig is just gorgeous. There's a small ding in it, no big deal. That little arm is a little bent, so when I do restore it, I'm gonna have to straighten that out. Like I said, I'm still waiting on the rod for it, or I'm gonna have to make one or something like that. Just a gorgeous drum though, without even me cleaning it. Just beautiful. And then that top one's just a cool little snare. I don't know if I can find the original butt plate for it. I might just put it back together. Like I said, there's some reproduction claws here and there. I have some nickel clips, claws, whatever you want to call them, downstairs. So when I do restore these, I will probably put the proper clips on them. If I do hot rod this one, I might do reproduction clips just because they're stronger. Just a cool little drum. But this one is something else. So, anyways, thanks for watching as always, and take care.